Hello, everyone? Welcome to another episode of 100 Yards Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host and producer this afternoon, Logan Landers, and join me as always to break down the 2024 NFL Draft prospect Ben Sinnott, tight end coming out of Kansas State. My friend from the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network, Jay McLovin. Jay, what's going on, man? And let the people know what you like about this tight end coming out of Kansas State.
Yeah. Hey, Logan, how's everything, my brother? Interestingly, Logan. Ben Sinnott, right? Tight end out of Kansas State, 6'4", 247, moderately, decently sized guy, right? I think he could use a little bit more weight than that, but I like to see him around the 260, but it is what it is. I think this is a day 3 draft guy. I don't think he gets drafted the first 2 days. So if you miss days 1 and 2, come back day 3, and I think that's where you're going to see this guy get drafted. His strengths, Logan, from what I was saying, is he can run really good routes. He's very strong. He's very agile in his route running. He has steady hands, which means you're not going to get the ball out of his hands too easily. So if you try to chop him or whatever to get that fumble, I don't think it's going to be as good or as easy as with most other people. So he does have steady hands. He's a very good positional blocker when it comes to passing or pass blocking or run blocking. So again, run after the catch. This guy, he catches the ball. He's got great yards after the catch. So whether it be blocking or whether it be, and I think you can almost even use him as a fullback, to be honest with you. I think he could be a fullback / tight end. I think there's multiple ways you can line him up, and I think that he would be somewhat successful. However, let's talk about the weaknesses real quick. He's got below average grit, so his grit or his toughness is a little questionable. He does lack run blocking, or he's not a very good force in the run blocking, so he won't block for you as well as maybe some of the other guys would. He's not good as a single positional blocker guy either. So if you get him one-on-one, that's really not his strength at all. So those are some big things to think about that you're going to have to develop in this guy. So when I see this guy, I think he could be a good backup that could work his way as a starter, but I don't think he's quite pro-ready yet, Logan. And I think for those reasons, I think that's why either A, he goes late draft, or B, he just doesn't get drafted.
Okay. All right. When I look at Ben Sinnott, Jay, it's a guy who got better every year, right? Had his career year in 2023, 676 yards on 49 receptions, 6 touchdowns all in all. And he's a guy who's interesting because he has gotten better every year, but it's just, you're not wowed with the game tape. You see a solid player, someone who maybe it developed right, could be a solid piece, but I don't see the next George Kittle or Travis Kelce in this guy.
No, I don't either.
I see a guy who you mentioned, I would say is more so of a blocking tight end, as opposed to that vertical threat tight end that we are seeing more and more of in today's game. More of an older school tight end, we'll say.
Yeah.
And that'll get you on the field. That's solid. You see first team Big 12 honors, all Big 12 honors in his 4th year here. And he did a lot of things. He's a good blocker, as we mentioned, for the most part. And he's able to get that initial burst, right? He can beat you early on. So if you can throw him some short routes, that's where he's most effective. I feel like, Jay, he could eat people up maybe in the end zone. If you get him on a short end zone position, that could be his bread and butter. You bring him in as that goal line tight end, as someone who could put some work in down there, just really short yardage to where he doesn't need to run 15-plus yards to catch a pass. I think that's his sweet spot right there. Give him some short passes and have him block for your other guys. And I think that is a recipe for success in the NFL. That's a reason that I think someone could take a chance on him. Like we mentioned, probably more than likely in a later round, because you got to have those guys. You got to have those dogs. You know what I mean? On your system, in your team, a guy who's, like you said, super effective with blocking, and it's going to help out your team. So if he's going anywhere, Jay, I say look for a team who's got a really solid run game. And this is a guy who could fit in nicely, I think. Do you have any final words on Ben Sinnott coming out of Kansas State?
No, I agree with everything what I think what both of us have said. It just seems like the first three guys that we talked about so far have been, and I don't think the other two that we got left are going to be any different. But these are a lot of late round guys that could pan out, and maybe not pan out. So the time will tell. I call these guys time will tell guys, right? And we'll see how they develop.
And time will tell. Will their name be called at the NFL draft? We'll find out in just a couple of weeks. Jay McLovin, appreciate it as always, man. Thank you for coming on the show. I'm your host and producer, Logan Landers. Guys, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. And until then, we'll